Welcome everybody, I'm Fabio Viviani and you're watching Fabio's Kitchen, where every week we'll bring you an amazing dish made by me. Everybody loves meatball, but how many meatball do you know how to do it? There is a ton of them. Beef meatball, turkey meatball, or like we're doing today, chicken meatball. But not just every chicken meatball out there. Because normally when people try to do a meatball with chicken, normally it's something that they're trying to be a little lighter, a little healthier, less calorie. We care about flavor first and foremost. So our chicken meatball, they're packed with flavor. Chicken meatball could be a little dry. Now, I'll worry about making sure that our chicken meatball are not dry with the addition of some fancy ingredients, but also the sauce that accompanies the meatball is as important, if not more. In this case, we're gonna have a white wine and balsamic vinegar sauce. It's a cream base, it will be very white. This is how we start. First, I need to turn the fire up and put a nice piece of butter in a pan with some flour. What we do here, we're gonna create a roux. We have been this before. You've watched other episodes with me. You know what a roux is. A roux is a base that serves as a thickening agent for any kind of liquid. Now, if on a roux, which is butter and flour, you're adding to milk or cream, you have a bechamel. If you're adding some broth, you have a thicker broth. You have a veloute. Now, the roux is the base for the sauce of our chicken meatball. As soon as the butter is melted and it's starting to get a little brown, I'm adding my flour. And remember, the perfect ratio of a roux is 2:1. 2 parts of fat, 1 part of flour. Now, if you see inside the pan, I'm just creating a very thick base for my broth to add. First things what we're gonna do here, I'm going to add some white balsamic vinegar. White balsamic vinegar is gonna add a lot of bright fruit note, a lot of sweetness without adding too much sugar. Then we have regular white wine. As you can see, the roux is starting to dilute. Then I'm gonna add some Worcestershire sauce, a little saltiness, pungent aroma. Worcestershire sauce does for sauces like what bitters do for drinks. Add that depth of flavor, those floral notes, some saltiness without really being salty. If you see here, see how the roux is starting to get thicker and thicker and thicker. And the more we whisk it, the less grain will be inside. Now, I'm gonna add some heavy cream to it. Now our roux is getting to the point where you know it's ready. Start to get creamy. Now we gotta heat it up, and I'm gonna finish with a little broth. Perfect. And let it cook on a medium. Now, the biggest part, chicken meatball. Ground chicken is not like beef. You can't choose 80-20, 90-10, 100% lean beef, 20% fat. Ground chicken is ground chicken. Likely, you're gonna get breast and you're gonna get a lot of dark meat. Now, if you could choose, I would choose all dark meat because it's fattier than breast and tend to have your meatball not dry. So now, I'm adding some chicken to this, and then we're gonna add the rest of the ingredients. 1 egg, breadcrumb. You can add panko, you can add Italian breadcrumb. I suggest you to add some seasoned one. There's never enough seasoning in a chicken meatball. Then I'm adding some dry herbs. In this case, I have oregano, thyme, marjoram, a good handful of fresh chopped parsley, salt and pepper, now the start of the show. You know what this is? Sun-dried tomatoes. Adding sun-dried tomato to chicken meatball, it's the ultimate flavor provider. Sun-dried tomatoes are sweet, they're juicy, they're like the best part of the tomato without the water of the tomato, because this is really concentrated tomatoes. What we did is, and if you ever were to make your own sun-dried tomato, making your own sun-dried tomato is very easy. All you gotta do is to get a good quality San Marzano tomato. You cut them in halves, you seed them out, you season them with a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, and you pop them in the oven at 225 degrees, very low, for a couple of hours, depending how thick you cut them. After that, shut the oven down and let the tomato cool down in the hot oven as it cools. That's the best way to make your own sun-dried tomato, and that's what we do. Now, in this case, chicken and sun-dried tomato meatball, you know there is a knockout flavor ready to happen here. And like any other meatball I do, the secret, the key to success, it's keeping it moist. How do I keep it moist? With some ricotta cheese. A little bit of ricotta cheese and some garlic, minced garlic. Now, why ricotta cheese and not like other cheeses? Ricotta cheese, if fresh ricotta, is the most, how do you guys say that? It's the moister or the most moist? Most moist. This is good to work with an American crew, because when like an incapacitated Italian talks, they can fix my grammatical inconsistency and make me look good on camera. That would be great if they cut this part of the video out and they just look good, but I want to be sure, I just feel it, that my editing guy is going to put this clip in it for you to watch. Well, thank you, Nick, I appreciate that. So here's the deal now. After my grammatical inconsistency, I'm going to knock everybody's socks off with the meatball, which is all I do. Cook good food and butcher the English language. Now, the sun-dried tomato and other things they're going to do with the moisture in the ricotta, they're going to rehydrate. And they're going to acquire all the flavor of anything around it. Now, the best part, the shaping of the meatball. But first, let's check the sauce. Look. See how nice and thick it got? See that? See that? Now we shut it off. We're gonna shape our meatball. And I usually make fun of people wearing gloves in the kitchen. My grandma didn't do it, I don't do it. But when you touch raw chicken, unless you want to wash your hand throughout later and keep washing your hand, it's suggested to use some gloves. And I like to wear double gloves in this case, because I know my gloves, and these gloves tend to rip and have holes in it. So, sorry if I look like a wonderful surgeon right now, that's what it is. All right, so, you can make chicken meatball like this, right? You can make them like this. 1, 2. Like that. Or you can use an ice cream scoop like this. See that? Look at this. And they're almost round. The good news about this is that it's probably easier, unless you're like a shape freak that your meatball has to be perfectly round. This is probably the way to go about it. How big I make them? About the golf size, like golf ball size, or a little smaller or a little bigger. Well, it depends, right? It depends how fast you want to eat them. Depend if you share them as an appetizer or as an entree. But here's the reality. Since this is chicken, And different from beef, these must be cooked throughout. I really suggest you to have them smaller rather than larger. And these be the biggest, and these almost be the biggest you want to go. And this is why I'm using a portion scoop, so I can get them all on the same size, and they're gonna cook evenly, and there's not gonna be one that is more cooked than the other. That's it. The sauce is thickening up. Whoo! Sauce is delicious. It's very aromatic thanks to the balsamic vinegar. It's creamy thanks to the roux and the cream inside, and is a perfect consistency because of the white wine and the broth. Now, be right back. I'm gonna put these in the oven. I don't have an oven right here, it's in the back. That's a fake oven. It's okay, I got one in the back. All right. Look, chicken meatball. Nice plate. And now, the final touch. And you can save the sauce, put it in the fridge, Ziploc bag, freeze it, and good for the next round of meatball. Now, we're talking about some gravy here. Wow. Look at that. That's a juicy dish. It's chicken meatball after all. We just took chicken and put a crown on it. You're welcome.